Hi friends, welcome to Art P11A, Introduction to Black and White Photography. I am your instructor, Sita Bhattacharjee. Please call me Sita and dispense with my last name. It probably looks a bit intimidating. But anyway, welcome to Intro to Black and White Photography. Normally, in the before time, we would have been meeting at school and working in the photo lab, in the black and white photo lab. Obviously, with the situation, the world situation being what it is, we cannot meet in person at this time. Hopefully that will change sooner rather than later, but for the time being, we'll be meeting online and working online. So hopefully you all have access to Canvas and have gotten to our class site on Canvas. We hopefully will be having some Zoom meetings, though because this class does not have a fixed meeting time, that's not required. We can't require that. But it is nice to see everybody, and so I hope that we can do that periodically, and certainly for looking at your work when we get to that. So I'd like to go over the syllabus with you guys. I emailed it twice, sorry about that. So the first one was the draft, and hopefully you got the second syllabus, but let's go over that and then we'll move on. Okay, just one moment here. Okay, so hopefully you can all see this, but here is the syllabus. The best way to get in touch with me is via email, and my email address is here, sbhattacharjee@mpc.edu. I will have a weekly office hour on Wednesdays from 1:30 to 2:30, and I will post the Zoom address for that. So you can drop in when you want to, if you want to, and when you want to during that hour. If that doesn't work for you, let me know and we can arrange something else. But anyway, let's just go over this. So welcome to Art P11A, an introduction to black and white photography. This class will cover the basic principles, both technical and aesthetic, of 35mm black and white photography. Topics will include camera use and techniques, lenses, film developing, darkroom and printing skills, image selection and evaluation, and an introduction, through slides and videos, to the work of a number of photographers. In addition, we will explore the basic principles of perception, light, composition, and visual awareness, and how these elements are used to make a successfully composed image. So more simply put, we'll go over the technical stuff and then use that stuff to make images and to think about what goes into the making of a successful image. Since we can't work in the darkroom, we'll have to work on the computer instead. And so I'll go over that in just a moment. Okay. So some iconic images here, which we'll talk about later on. But anyway, due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and the measures put in place to slow its spread, this class, which normally would be taught in the MPC Photography Lab, will be taught online. Students must have regular access to a computer with high-speed internet access and be familiar with using the internet, which in this day and age, it's hard to believe there are people who aren't, but you never know. Okay. This class will require the use of Adobe Creative Cloud software applications, which is not entirely true, but just a moment. If you do not already have access to the Adobe Creative Cloud software suite, MPC will provide access to you for the duration of the semester. You don't have to work in Adobe, with Adobe Lightroom. You can actually use a different application if you like. The Apple Photos app or application will be fine. So we'll be converting images into black and white and then doing some basic manipulations to improve the prints. And we'll go over all that. So there is a recommended text for this class, and it is entitled Photography by London, Upton et al. And any of the latter editions will be fine for black and white photography. So 10th, 11th, or 12th editions. You do not have to purchase this book. So it's an excellent resource, but you'll not be tested on anything that has not been covered in class. So you don't have to buy it. You can also buy it used, and you don't have to have the current edition. Okay. All right, next, attendance and participation. So just a moment here. Though we will not be meeting in person, participation, which includes asking questions, making comments, and discussing your work and the work of your classmates, is still an important facet of education and learning. So we will use the discussion module on Canvas as one of our means of communication. And there will also be periodic Zoom meetings, which, though not mandatory, are definitely recommended. Okay. And if there's a problem or an issue, please let me know. I'm sure we can work it out. So please contact me with any problems, questions, issues, or you just want to chat. That's great. Okay. If for some inexplicable reason you desire or need to drop this course, it's your responsibility to do so. So if you stop attending, and that is if you don't sign in to Canvas for quite a while, I will check in with you and email you and see if everything is okay, which hopefully it will be. But if you continue to not attend and you don't do the classwork and so on, I usually will drop you eventually, but I don't guarantee that I'll drop you. And so if you feel you must drop the class, or for whatever reason, drop it so that you don't end up with a W on your transcript, or heaven forbid, an F. That would be dreadful. Okay. Okay, next up, grading. Everyone's question, right, and concern. Evaluation, or grading, will be based upon a written exam, the timely submission of assignments, participation, and overall effort. While you are required to turn in your assignments on time, you may redo them if there were technical problems. Also, if you're unhappy with your grade, contact me, and based on the strength and validity of your argument, I may or may not change the grade. But you are welcome to redo the assignment, and not just if there were technical problems. If you're unhappy with the grade and you want a higher grade, you may redo the assignment for a higher grade. And so that includes all of the assignments except for the final one, which of course is due at the end of the term, so you can't redo that one. Okay. All exams and projects will be graded on a 1,000-point scale. The minimum passing grade is a D minus actually, or 60%, and the breakdown is as follows. When I grade, I use the plus minus system. That may or may not come through in the final grade. So if you're, I grade up. So if you're running a high B plus, I would, I might bump you into the A depending. But this is the breakdown right here. So take a look at that. The assignments, the first 3 assignments are worth 100 points each for a total of 300 points. The fourth and final assignment, which is a kind of cumulative assignment, is worth 300 points. The exam, which we'll talk about later on, is worth 200 points. and participation is worth 200 points, for a total of 1,000 points. You will be graded on your lab work, and so that is the printing or the submission of your digital files. 4 printing assignments, a midterm exam or just an exam, and participation. The points will be added to determine the final grade. This has more to do with, when we would meet in person, but points may be subtracted for poor attendance and or behavior. I'm going to assume you're not going to misbehave, and failure to meet assignment deadlines. Okay. The assignments themselves, there are 4. Again, the first is on something called depth of field, which we'll talk about, that refers to how much space in the image from the foreground to the background is in focus. The second deals with motion. The third, portraits and self-portraits. And the fourth, favorites and not so favorite things. And we'll talk about what that means a little later on in the term. Okay. So, all work submitted for this course is to have been made for this class over the course of this academic semester, and not, therefore, prior to August 14th of 2020, this year. So you may have, images that suit the assignment to a T that you shot 2 years ago. And I don't want you to submit those. I want you to be making new work for this class. Okay. The objectives of this class. So, the student learning outcomes, or what you should be able to do upon completion of this class. Produce original high-quality black and white photographic prints demonstrating a synthesis of technical principles of exposure and processing of black and white materials with concepts of composition, design, aesthetics, and content. I didn't write this. Number 2, evaluate photographic compositions and analyze photographs for literal and symbolic meaning, utilizing basic principles of design and visual communication. And then the humanities general education outcomes, to analyze and interpret human thought, achievement, and expression relevant to such branches of knowledge such as philosophy, literature, and or the fine and performing arts. Somebody misspelled performing, that's terrible. And to communicate the results. I will correct that. It's not preforming. Okay, so more simply put, to be able to technically to make photographic prints, to have an understanding of what goes into the making of a successful photographic print, and then beyond that, what goes into the making of a successful image in terms of content, in terms of design, conceptually as well. Okay. All right, a note on academic integrity. You can read this yourselves, but as a student of Monterey Peninsula College, you join a community of scholars who are committed to excellence in the process of teaching and learning. Academic honesty, and honesty in general, of course, is fundamental to this community. We assume that all students will pursue their studies with integrity and honesty, that the work they submit is their own original work that accurately represents the time and effort applied. Cheating, plagiarism of written or visual information, or knowingly furnishing false information in the classroom or to the instructor is academic dishonesty and is a violation of the Honor Code. Students are expected to be familiar with the Honor Code and to recognize that violations of this code are most serious and will be handled in a manner that fully represents the extent of the code and that befits the seriousness of its violation. If you have any questions or concerns about this, please ask. And again, more simply put, please do your own work. Right? Okay, important dates. So dates for adding and dropping the class. As stated here, August 29th is the last day to add a class. August 30th is the last day to drop a class for a full refund or credit, and the last day to drop a class with no record of the grade. Monday, September 7th is the Labor Day holiday. Friday, September 12th is the last day to request pass or no pass grade option. Monday, November 11th is the last day to drop with a W. Wednesday, November 13th is the Veterans Day holiday. Thursday through Saturday, November 26th through 28th is the Thanksgiving holiday. And Friday, December 11th sees the end of the semester, so the last day of finals week. Okay. I welcome your questions and comments. Truly I do. So please feel free to contact me with any concerns or issues you may have, or anything else you would like to discuss via email or during my office hours. Okay. Happy shooting. And finally, required supplies. As we will not be using the Black and White Photo Lab, you will not need to purchase those supplies. You will, however, need a 35mm camera with adjustable shutter speeds and apertures, either film or digital. If you are shooting with film, you will need to have the film processed and scanned so that you can work with and submit the images digitally. Okay. And I will discuss that in my next scintillating video. But lastly, here, where to purchase supplies. So in Monterey, there are actually 3 places, but 2 main ones. Green's Camera World and Electronics is really the main one in the Del Monte Center. And then Monterey Bay Photo Lab on Lighthouse Avenue. And then Backscatter Underwater Video and Photo, which obviously is more specialized on Cannery Row, but they also carry, I think, basic photo stuff. But probably Green's Camera World and Electronics is your best bet for local photographic supplies and equipment. If you want to order stuff online, you'll probably find things a little bit cheaper. And there are a number of online sources. I've just listed 2, and these are the ones that I have used and trust, and they're major photo distributors or photo online stores. So B&H Photo, which is in New York City, and Freestyle Photographic Supplies, which is in Los Angeles. So that's it for now. More to come. Thanks.